So I was trying to go to sleep, but usually when I cannot sleep, it's because there's information coming through being channeled to me. And lo and behold, it was. Before I go any further, this is Sia Grant. Hit me up on Patreon if you need any spiritual services. Mainly consultations. I do consultations. I will post the link to my Patreon in the video description box, and that's that. Now, this is what I wanted to get into. And, I've been wanting to touch on this for a minute, but tonight, I was trying to go to sleep, but these spirits they kept pushing me to talk about this. And, spirits don't have no motherfucking time. They don't give a fuck about no motherfucking time. But the spirits that were coming through, I knew who they were. One of them, I know him very well, who's transitioned, and he's been trying to get me to talk about this. And you see, I made a pound cake tonight. I don't know why I made that pound cake. I had made one the other day for my mother, and something told me to make another one today. So I'm gonna probably put some of that pound cake on one of these altars for my ancestors and for people that I knew who have also transitioned. But it's amazing how much information a pound cake can give you, because I ate a piece. Or how it can open up gateways of information for certain things, for certain people. See, we can get information from any source if you know enough on how to, figure out, and put the pieces of the puzzle together. But that's another fucking story. I want to talk about something that I might have touched on a little bit before, but I want to go a little bit more in depth because these spirits have been trying to get me to talk about this for quite some time, and I think now is the time. It's late in the morning. Well, it's early in the morning, and this is the perfect time to discuss it. I want to talk about the DL, or what is also known as the down low. Now, traditionally, on a conscious and egotistical level, on a physical level, whichever one you want to fucking call it, the down low has has always been described as black men who mess around with other men, black men, particularly in secret or in the dark or messing around with other men in general. Now, the term the down low started really becoming more and more prevalent, probably, I want to say, in the late 90s, early 2000s. That is, I'm not saying that it did not exist prior, but it really became a household name and mentality and entity when that man J.L. King wrote that book and he was on Oprah's show. And I think I mentioned that in one of my videos, one of my prior videos, when that man J.L. King was on Oprah's show back in 2001 or 2002 or 2003, back in the early 2000s, damn near 20 years ago. He wrote that book called On the DL. Now, here is where the occult comes in. This is what I do. I'm the occult view. This is what symbolically the DL, or the down low, stands for on a symbolic, on an occult level. And this is what these spirits were trying to show me, and I wasn't getting it. You see, first of all, we have to look at the word down low. And we also have to examine, when you hear that word, the first person or first thing that pops into your mind is a black man messing with other black men in secret. And when I say messing, I mean fucking, having sex. Ain't no sense in sugarcoating it or beating around the motherfucking bush or pussyfooting around the goddamn pudding. It's about black men who are basically fucking with other black men sexually, fucking and sucking other black men in secret. Now, what makes it so, on a human level, what makes it so bad on a human level is that sometimes they're doing this behind their wives or their girlfriends' backs. But what I find interesting is that no other occultist that I've heard of has really examined that word, or they've never really examined the science behind the down low and what that really means, if you can call it science, whatever the case may be. And that's okay because I was the occultist who was supposed to do it. So it's okay. I'm not shaming any other occultists, of course, but I'm just saying I find it interesting that everybody talks about homosexuality. Everyone talks about it in a egotistical way. No matter how they try to hide it and how they try to attach occultism to it or science to it, but it's always coming off in an egotistical way. But let's stick with the DL, because a lot of men who mess around on the DL with other men, they don't classify themselves as homosexuals or gay. Maybe some of them may call themselves bisexual. And this is not about condoning or condemning messing around on the DL. I'm talking to the minds of gods. I'm not talking to you mere motherfucking humans and mortals who can't look beyond that and just understand the science behind it or what's really being said in code, what's really being said in the occult language to program the subconscious mind. When you hear the word DL, the first person you think about, I promise you, is a black man messing with other black men in secret behind his wife or girlfriend's back. That's the first person you think about because that word was designed to attack the subconscious mind of black men. And it was designed to create division and mistrust between black men and black women, and it fucking worked. But when you think of the word down low, I know I'm babbling, but I want to get my motherfucking point across. When you think of the word down low, you have to look a little bit deeper and you have to look beyond the sex acts and look at it from an occult aspect if you are a true occultist. And the word down low, they're talking about the motherfucking underworld. They're talking about what goes on in the underworld. They're also talking about an aspect of our minds that we are not tapping into. See, that is where the occult comes in. That is where the symbology comes in. When we're thinking about the DL, see, we're so wrapped up into the illusion and the sex acts. We're so wrapped up into the emotion, but we're not looking at what these motherfuckers are really saying. It's not an accident that that word DL has been applied to black men who mess around with other black men because it's not, let me say it this way, it's not a surprise nor is it an accident or a coincidence that the word DL has become synonymous with the image of a black man. You don't see no motherfucking books about no white men being written about you don't see no books about white men on the DL being written because they don't refer to white men on the DL as being on the DL. They don't refer to white men like that. They only refer that or keep that title for black men. And that's what I'm saying. I'm surprised that no other, black occultist has really talked about this, but that's okay because that is why I'm here to talk about it. It wasn't for them to talk about it, it was for me to talk about it. And I get that now. But it's not a surprise that that word, downlow, has been attributed to the image of black men, even if the black man may not even be on the down low. They've had to fight allegations about shit like that. The down low is talking not only about the underworld on a symbolic or a spiritual or an occult level or an esoteric level, but the down low is also talking about the hidden part of your subconscious mind. I'm talking about on a cult level. I'm not talking about the sex acts. You can chop the sex acts up to, just two niggas getting together fucking, and they don't want nobody to know. But when it comes to the occult, when I look at those words, down low, they're talking about below. They're talking about down. They're talking about the underground, not the underground, but the underworld. Okay? The underworld, the world of Osiris, who is the sleeping subconscious mind, by the way. Symbolically, that is what the god Osiris represents, the sleeping subconscious mind. So when they're talking about the down low, we have to take the emotion out of it and just examine it for what it really is. They're talking about our subconscious mind, the dark, hidden aspects of the subconscious mind that we have yet to discover. And then they connected it with sex acts to keep us shut out of those aspects of our mind. So they attached shame, fear, mistrust, and what else? I'm trying to think of other words. They attached all of these energies to it, and I'm talking about the people, who had an agenda to keep us locked out of that part of our minds, those hidden aspects of our minds. That is what the DL represents, the hidden aspects of our mind, the sleeping subconscious mind that they're constantly, and they've been constantly attacking. Because, like I said, down low, listen to the word down low. They're talking about the underworld. That's the world of Osiris, the world of the perfect motherfucking black. That's the world of Osiris, the sleeping subconscious mind. So when they're talking about the down low symbolically, they're talking about the aspect of you that is sleeping, the aspect of you that is hidden in the dark. That's all they're talking about. But then they went and attached shame and bigotry and fear to that shit by calling it or making it into only about sex acts with other men that's done in secret. But the occultism behind it is really just your subconscious mind, the dark parts or the hidden parts of your subconscious mind. Dark motherfucking magic. That's what dark magic is all about. The hidden parts of you that you have not tapped into. That is what the DL really represents. But it's been turned into something that is now looked at as a negative. So therefore, people are going to automatically be shut out of that if they don't understand the occultism behind it or the symbology behind it. If they don't understand the symbology and if they don't understand the occult, then they're going to automatically look at that as being something negative. But they're talking about the underworld, the world of Osiris, and the sleeping subconscious mind, because that is what Osiris represents. So the next time you hear the word DL or the word downlow, just think about it a little bit deeper and understand it on a deeper level besides, just the physical, aspects of it of two black men having sex with each other in secret, you know? There's always a hidden occultism, a hidden occult symbol or some type of symbology behind a lot of these words and shit that they use. But, you just have to be able to look at it and decode it for yourself. And this has been nagging me for a long time. Shit, it's 5 o'clock in the morning. I should be fucking asleep. But spirits had other, these spirits had other plans for me, I guess you could say, shit. Because I kept hearing this, like, I kept hearing these words and I kept hearing shit coming out. And I was like, oh, that's what the DL is. And the person who kept coming to me, I'm not going to say who it was, but people who know me know who the person was who kept coming to me, giving me this information. People who know me know who I'm talking about. Because me and this person had a close, relationship with each other, before he transitioned. So people know who the fuck I'm talking about. And he was a man that messed around on the motherfucking DL. And on top of that, he was also a form of Osiris. He was a form of Osiris. So that is where that information is coming from. The DL is nothing more on an occult level, on a spiritual level, on a symbolic level. The DL is nothing more than the hidden aspects of your own subconscious mind, the darker aspects of your own subconscious mind. The DL is the boogeyman in the motherfucking closet. Just like your subconscious mind is the boogeyman in the closet. See, all of these little cliches and all of these little urban myths that we've been afraid of all of our lives, the monster under the bed, the boogeyman in the closet, all of that connects to the DL. All of that, because it's about what's hidden inside of you in the dark. That's what that's all about. Now, we can either get emotional about it, and say, oh, two men messing with each other behind, women's back. That's so wrong. Yeah, that's wrong to deceive people. But you have to look beyond that if you have a God mindset. You have to look beyond that and understand what's really being said. Understand the language of symbology. Down low, the fucking underworld. It's simple as that. Well, now that I've made this video, hopefully I can get some sleep. This is Sia Grant. Once again, hit me up on Patreon if you need any spiritual consultation services, especially if you are a man on the DL or gay or straight or confused or whatever the case may be, But anyway, I'm signing out. All right.